Did you see that when DB came back and played for us, that they got mad that our fan base was booing her?
I don't believe in booing former players unless they left on like some fuck you type shit.
The WNBA's media playbook just got burned, and Sophie Cunningham lit the match. Forget everything you thought you knew about WNBA media, because this is the moment Sophie Cunningham torched the rulebook that's been controlling the league's stories for decades. One casual podcast mention about DeWanna Bonner's messy exit, and suddenly the entire old-school media machine is in meltdown. Here's why. Sophie just proved that players like her, Caitlin Clark, and the Indiana Fever don't need ESPN, The Athletic, or the league's favorite talking heads to control their own narrative. She skipped the gatekeepers, went straight to the fans, and pulled in more engagement in days than most sports journalists get in an entire year. For an industry built on being the middleman, that's not a shift. It's a total power grab. If you're riding with Sophie, drop a Go Sophie in the comments. Let's blow this up.
I like DB because DB was one of my vets when I was in Phoenix, and then we gathered here into Indiana, and it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway, and so we'll take her in a heartbeat. She's a Hall of Famer. She's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court.
Before we get into how Sophie accidentally blew holes in the WNBA's media playbook, imagine this. Players completely in charge of their own stories. No biased editing, no anti-Clark twists, no schemes to pit teammates against one another. What Sophie just did is bigger than the Bonner drama. This feels like the opening scene of a new era, one that might flip women's basketball storytelling on its head.
I just think, and you know way better than me,
Yeah.
but it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I
rookies.
just hate that because this is what we've always wanted as a league. So who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
You are literally making money from the viewers.
And why bully the person who is not 100% responsible, but has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally pisses me off when people are she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
For years, old-school sports media built a wall around WNBA coverage, deciding who got airtime and what stories were safe to tell. Sophie just proved that wall isn't rock solid. It's basically tissue paper in the rain. One unfiltered podcast episode was all it took to show the cracks. And now the big outlets are scrambling to sign players before they lose control of the story completely. The signs were there in the numbers. 1.6 million TikTok followers, 1.1 million on Instagram, more reach than a lot of the league's insiders combined. She pulled that off while ESPN was acting like Caitlin Clark's record-setting performances didn't even happen.
Dude, I'm not even saying I went from I think
followers, yeah.
350,000 and maybe 200,000 on TikTok.
You had 200,000 on TikTok a month ago?
No, I
Before the fight.
Before the fight, and then I had 350 on 100,000 on Instagram. Over the night, or over a day and a half, over 1 million on both. Insane. This is coming from me though, dude. I got tired of seeing myself.
I get it.
And I love myself.
Oh, I get it.
I love myself. I was over it.
This is where the whole script flips. Sophie didn't get here by bowing to the old guard. She got here by speaking exactly how fans want to hear it. Bold, competitive, and 100% real. While some players stayed in the safety of a polished media bubble, Sophie went direct, giving fans what ESPN's safe-for-TV quotes never give them: authenticity. And that's when the power moved. She didn't leak it to a journalist. She didn't pass it to The Athletic. She didn't even tease it on social media first. She sat down on Show Me Something and dropped a truth bomb that spun the Bonner controversy on its head. No editing, no PR script, no spin, just straight, unfiltered truth. Back in the day, a player with inside dirt on locker room chaos or shady exits would feed it to a reporter, watch it get rewritten into a carefully sourced story, and have it served to the audience on the media's terms. Timing, framing, and impact all controlled.
But she got to Indiana and she just like really wasn't happy. And like, I want people to be happy. So that's why I'm kind of like neutral on this one, which a lot of people are surprised about. She's towards the end of her career. So like, she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be happy. But I also think that if you're going to leave, like, you're going to have to expect getting bit.
Was there explanation when it happened? No. Not even privately? That's tough. And, yeah, okay. Well, I did say what? Unless you leave on some fuck you type shit, and that's what that is, so.
Yeah.
Sophie looked at that system and went, yeah, that's not happening. She told it her way, and told it better, because she wasn't just reporting it, she was living it. She had the credibility, the background, and the mic to say it without asking permission from anyone. And that kind of control? The old school media does everything it can to make sure Caitlin Clark and the Fever never have it.
I'm still rooting for her. Like, I want her to end her career and be happy. But I also think that, like, it's okay to be professional about it. And, like, send a text to your teammates. Send a text and be like, hey, like, love you guys. Or you don't even have to say love you guys. Just like, hey, sorry this didn't work out. Good luck. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to handle that, I think.
Here's the real shocker everyone missed. Sophie's podcast isn't just her and a mic in a garage. It's backed by Colin Cowherd's The Volume, one of the biggest names in sports media. That's a historic crossover. The first time a WNBA player's content has been plugged straight into mainstream sports power. And let's be clear, they didn't sign Sophie as charity or a PR move. They signed her because they saw what ESPN either ignored or feared. Authentic, player-driven content beats corporate fluff every time. That deal sends a loud message. WNBA players don't need to stay boxed into women's sports coverage. They can go toe-to-toe with mainstream voices, build audiences just as big, and connect with fans who care about real stories, not the league's carefully protected image. And now? Other players are watching Sophie and realizing they can do it too. They don't need a middleman. They don't need their story reshaped to fit ESPN's narrative. They can deliver it raw, direct, and unfiltered. That's why legacy media is sweating. We're already seeing reports that big networks are scrambling to sign WNBA players for their own shows, not because they suddenly believe in empowering female athletes, but because Sophie just proved there's a huge, hungry market for this. And when fans are offered a choice between Sophie's authenticity and ESPN's spin, the fans don't hesitate. They'll ride with the players every single time.
Dude, and it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
Sophie is tearing down the league's Protect the Veterans rulebook, the code that says never criticize the inner circle, never call out the politics, and never give fans a reason to doubt the league's chosen stars. She saw that unspoken agreement and flat out rejected it. By speaking openly about Bonner's chaotic exit, not because it was safe, not because it was simple, but because it was true, she flipped the script. That kind of raw honesty is exactly what today's WNBA audience craves, especially Caitlin Clark's massive fan base, who've been desperate for someone to say what legacy media has been too scared to admit.
One of your teammates, arguably one of the biggest stars the WNBA's ever
Who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmatlin.
Kirtland?
Yeah. What has that been like, seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say? Okay.
Not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport.
basketball as a whole around the
Yeah.
world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old and the whole world is watching her.
Yeah.
Like it is a cult following.
That fiery defense of Caitlin Clark? That was Sophie Cunningham talking directly to the very fans the old WNBA media machine has been pushing aside for months. While legacy journalists tried to smother Clark's rise with "she just needs time," takes, and hollow calls for balance, Sophie didn't bother with polite spin. She flat out called the Clark critics dumb as hell, and she meant every word. That wasn't just raw authenticity, it was a calculated masterstroke. Sophie went straight to the league's fastest-growing, most passionate fan base, Clark's, and spoke in their language, not the stale jargon of the media establishment. She chose to grow the tent instead of gatekeeping it, and the engagement numbers show it was the right move.
Is like, you have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlin. We call her CC. For even when I wasn't on her team, like I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like, I get it to a certain extent. And like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're gonna treat them. But there's just more for her. So it's her second year, and like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like, actually, it's just too much. Yeah. And like it's just, I'm over. And if I'm saying it's too much, then it's probably too much.
Legacy sports media has always pushed players to give safe, sponsor-approved quotes. Why? Because it made them essential as the middlemen. But when Sophie talks, she doesn't hold back. She says it plain. Fans get it immediately, and suddenly the reporter in the middle looks unnecessary. That's why the old guard is shaking. Because if Sophie and Caitlin can talk straight to millions, grow massive fan bases, and own their narratives, then what are the gatekeepers really selling? Their whole business was built on controlled access, on being the filter athletes supposedly had to go through. Sophie just proved they never needed that filter in the first place.
So it's her second year, and like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like, actually, it's just too much. And like, it's just.
This isn't just Sophie finding her lane. Her rise is creating a whole new playbook for WNBA players. Fans now want the same thing from everyone else: raw, honest, unfiltered takes. The old PR scripted answers. Fans see them as robotic, fake, and corporate. And players are catching on. They're staring at Sophie's numbers, her platform, and asking themselves, why are we still letting reporters sanitize our words when we could just go straight to the fans? That changes everything. And here's the prediction that has the old guard sweating. Within 6 months, you'll see a wave of big-name WNBA players launching their own shows, following Sophie's cut-out-the-middleman formula. The proof is right there. Sophie didn't just chip away at the media machine. She pulled back the curtain and showed it was fragile the whole time. The only reason it worked was because players believed they needed the coverage. Sophie blew up that illusion and showed that fans value real, direct connection more than any scripted corporate line.
And I get it, because if I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What call are you like bugged out?
All of them.
Most? Everything?
Like, it's just like they're just so inconsistent. Like, that's my thing. Like, if you're on the other team and you're gonna be finding the shit out of me,
yeah,
cool. But let me do it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Want
Like,
consistency then.
yeah, like just give. And I think that's players across the league and like new fans across the country. Like, everyone's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know. And you finding me $500 is not gonna do shit.
Here's what the old guard never got. Fans don't tune in for polite interviews and safe answers. They want rivalry, they want competition, and they want emotion. For years, WNBA coverage has been scrubbed clean into a boring, everyone respects everyone storyline. Sophie proved that's backwards. Conflict brings in the crowds, and honesty keeps them loyal. She flipped tension into traction and turned pushback into proof of credibility. And from a business angle, that's a game changer. It means contracts, sponsor obligations, and media restrictions will all come under fire, because players now understand just how valuable their raw voices are. If Sophie can reach 1.6 million people on her own, why let a PR filter muzzle her? If her unfiltered takes outperform every safe, prepackaged soundbite, why on earth would she stick to the script?
There's just there's like a good handful that it's like, all right, dude, And there's a couple girls in it
Dumb
too.
question. If someone were to say someone called men's basketball their whole life and then went over to women's, would they be expected to call the game differently? Just given the style and physicality and stuff like that?
The power dynamic has flipped, and now everyone's scrambling. Some media outlets will loosen the leash, letting players say a little more. Others will cling to old-school tactics, leaning on team pressure to keep athletes quiet. But the smartest move? Total pivot. Partner with the players instead of trying to control them. And this isn't just a WNBA story. Sophie's playbook works in every sport. Fans will always prefer direct, unfiltered stories from the people who were actually in the locker room over polished corporate fluff, written by someone on the outside. The old way treated athletes like sources and fans like customers. Sophie's way flips the script. Players become creators, and fans become part of the conversation. That's why the media establishment is melting down.
The thing that I have the biggest issue about those female sides of refs is they're so emotional. The guys, no, the NBA officials, the NBA players motherfuck those officials like no other.
Yeah.
I've worked broadcast, I've been to games, I'm friends with these people. They motherfuck them.
Yeah.
And the only person that I've ever seen able to motherfuck a ref on the women's side is DeWanna Taurasi.
And they take it.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, they have
and
to.
but when she's probably one of the worst people that I've seen go after refs.
What scares the old media most is this. Sophie's influence has nothing to do with her box score. Her platform doesn't rise or fall with her stats. She's proved you don't need to be the league's MVP to become a media force. You just need to be authentic, engaging, and willing to speak directly to your audience. That's a total flip of the old model where only the biggest stars got a microphone. The Bonner situation may have sparked the moment, but Sophie used it to show the league a new way forward. Being real, even when it stirs controversy, creates deeper loyalty than the most polished, sponsor-approved press release ever could. Sophie cut out the translators and went straight to the fans. And now the choice is simple. Outlets that adapt and collaborate with players will survive. The ones that cling to the past will vanish into irrelevance.
And I'm not saying they're emotional. The men and women, it doesn't matter the gender.
Yeah.
On our side, they are too emotionally invested and they can't take it. And I'm like,
is it new to the WNBA that you guys are maybe talking more shit back to refs, or has that been a thing forever?
it's always been a thing.
This is the start of athlete-owned media. And Sophie Cunningham just became the face of it, whether she planned to or not. The old guard is cornered. They can either adapt and actually bring value to athletes or watch themselves get left behind as Sophie, Caitlin Clark, and others build their own direct pipelines to fans. The WNBA media landscape of 6 months ago? Dead on arrival. It just hasn't been buried yet. Sophie showed that when players own the mic, authenticity always wins over corporate-approved sound bites. Now every player knows they don't need the access game. That's why the traditionalists are in full panic. Their whole model was built on scarcity and control. Sophie tore both to pieces. If you're rocking with Sophie, drop a Go Sophie in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.